Here is a horse that I am comfortable around. There we go. Here's the big guy, big girl. What do we got here?
This is a girl, and she's actually our oldest horse in the barn.
She seems a little bit stubborn. This is Dominic Damaski, Discovery and Inspiration. We're about an hour outside of Pittsburgh, and we're heading up to Stoneybrook Foundation Therapeutic Riding Center. We're going to meet some fascinating people there today. They're doing something real inspiring. They're using horses for therapy. So we're going to go up, we're going to check it out, and we're going to have a good time.
Four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10. Nice job. Can you get the main brush, CJ? Good. Oh. 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 Excellent. Good listening. Oh. Come here. Good. Oh. Nice. Oh. Thank you. Oh. Can you carry this? Thank you.
We're here with some of the brains and the brawn behind the Stoneybrook Foundation. So who do I have here today?
I'm Becky Costley. I'm the business manager.
Hi, I'm Haley Hutchinson. I'm the volunteer coordinator.
And I'm Tanya Richardson, the executive director.
Lovely. I find this place so inspiring. I just started looking it up. I heard about it. I looked it up online, and I am seeing so many cool things happening. I had no idea all of this was going on. So what got you involved with the place?
I, for one, live down the road, and I drove past several times. Horses have been in my life my whole life, and so I decided to look it up and check it out and see what it was. And when I found out, I happened to be working part-time, so I volunteered here for a couple of years before coming on board as a staff.
You seem to be the runt of the litter here. So how did you get involved already? You got your boots on, you're ready to go. How are you so involved right now?
So I went to college for therapeutic riding, and when I was a senior in high school, I came here to start volunteering and getting a little bit more experience in therapeutic riding. And I was actually the intern here last summer, and then now I'm an employee.
Now, do these ladies know that you really run the place?
Just the volunteers.
Tanya, you've been sitting back in the corner quiet, but I know that's not you. So how did you get involved with the place?
Well, I have no horse experience whatsoever.
Okay.
Grew up on farms, but we did not have horses. And last year I was looking to make a career change, and Suzanne Ward is on the board of Stoneybrook and approached me when the ED position became available, and I interviewed thinking there's no way they're going to hire me. I know nothing about horses, but they hired me, and these lovely people, along with the other staff that that aren't here today, have really taught me a lot, and it's fascinating what these people do and what the horses do and the lives that they can change. So it's amazing.
Sure. Now, is it all children? Is it children and adults? Who goes through therapy?
No, actually, we started out serving primarily children when this was open, a much smaller operation run by volunteers. They had some autistic support classrooms come in, and that's primarily who were the student base. Now we've grown to the point where students over 14 years old are an actual larger demographic than people 14 and under, which is new for us. So we serve at-risk youth, we serve veterans. We have a few students who are actually in the senior demographic that have come to ride with us. So we've really varied our population base.
Here's what I'm thinking about. So I've always been afraid to walk behind a horse. No matter how far behind the horse, I think I'm going to get kicked. And Tanya said she didn't have a lot of experience with horses. So as a patient, I guess you would call it a patient, somebody coming for therapy, how do you overcome that fear of getting on horses?
Well, first of all, we refer to them as clients because we are not actual medical therapists.
Okay.
So we do refer to them as participants in our program. But you are correct to be afraid to walk behind a horse, and we always teach our students right from the beginning that you don't approach a horse from behind without first giving them some kind of warning that you're back there verbally, or as you come up next to them, give them a soft pat on the hip but let them know you're there. And so we have to teach our students from the ground how to approach before they even ever get on the horse's back. Several of our students come into the program already with some fear issues about getting on the horse, and we can spend a couple or up to several lessons on the ground working with the horse and getting used to them before they even get on in the saddle, if that's what they need.
Is there a client that you've connected with personally where you go home at night and just think, wow, this is why I went to school, this is why I'm glad to be a part of it? Have you had that experience?
I have with there's one student that I get to teach every Thursday, and she makes me laugh every day. Every time I come in, I really look forward to teaching her. I actually taught her during my internship last year, but I now have 5 other students that I'm going to start teaching this summer session, and I look forward to working with each individual rider and working on new riding skills and everything. So.
You mentioned the people you're working with, and what are some of the things, like when therapeutic riding, what are some of the reasons I would come for therapeutic riding?
So some of our students that we see that come to ride in our program have physical disabilities, emotional, mental, and cognitive disabilities. So we have a wide variety of students that come all year round and take lessons. And we try to modify each lesson to benefit each student.
Okay. Now, how do you figure out how to modify a lesson? I wouldn't know where to start. So how do you know for this type of client we should do this, and for another client we should do something completely different?
Well, each new student that we get to wants to participate in our program, we go through an evaluation. So we ask questions of the parents. We see what kind of gross and fine motor skills the student might have, cognitive abilities. So we walk them around the horses and see if they're afraid, like we were talked about earlier, and everything. And then when we go into the lesson part of the program, we try to take tasks that we think the student can be successful at, and we don't want to push them past their limit and end on a bad note for any lesson, because we always want to end on a positive
I
note.
like that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very nice.
Katie, I saw you out there with Simon the horse, and I saw you with CJ, and you were very focused, and I didn't want to interrupt. So, can you tell us what were you doing out there?
With CJ, we had our lesson where we went out and rode. He indicated that he wanted to go outside. A lot of our students really like that. And the impact from the ground gives them more input, so that's great for our students, especially on the autism spectrum. And then we came back inside and we groomed the horse, so he got some learns responsibility and care by grooming the horse, and he gets the sensory sensation of touching them and using the different brushes. And then I had him help me untack his horse, take the equipment off and put that away.
I would think that this has to be the most rewarding job.
This is a wonderful job.
So-
I absolutely love doing it. I've been a therapeutic riding instructor for 5 years now, and I'm I really love it, so I'm hoping to do that for a long time.
So, when you rode like with CJ today, and along that vein, what is that like, the feeling between the two of you when you see him, excelling?
It's really rewarding and heartwarming when things go well and they just click. This isn't an easy job. Not every day goes the way we planned, and sometimes things don't work out, but when they do, it's just really rewarding when your students finally, something finally clicks and they get something right. You can see the reward that they get, and their smiles and their self-confidence boosts, and that's just really an awesome feeling to be able to enable that and empower that in other people.
Do you feel like the parents are uplifted by seeing their children succeed on the horses? And
We have parents who are sitting out here in tears. We have parents that are seeing behaviors they've never seen before from their student, or seeing them reduce, probably more often. There's a connection that they get with the horses. Sometimes it's a student who maybe doesn't show emotions terribly, but they have a connection with the horse that they haven't seen them have many connections with before, and it's exciting to them, and their students are focusing or paying attention. And like Katie had mentioned, it's hit or miss. You know, so you have some that this is maybe not the perfect match for, but we probably see it the other way a lot more frequently, and it's fantastic when you see it. It feels great.
after a successful session, CJ's mother, Kristen White, granted me a brief interview. Kristen, so how long have you been coming here?
I'd say about 6 years.
And I saw CJ on the horse, and it looked like he was really enjoying himself. So what do you feel you guys get out of the therapy?
It's calming for him. He loves going on the trails, loves going outside on the horse, and I hope maybe one day he'll be able to kind of like ride on a horse independently, just a little bit here and there. You know, not that I have horses where I live, but just something for him to be able to do that will help his sensory needs.
In the 6 years you've been coming, have you seen him like connect with the horses and maybe come out of a shell a little bit, or what?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has, over the 6 years, changed. Unfortunately, he's entering puberty, pre-puberty stuff, so yeah, fun. But you can tell he's just more comfortable around the animals. He's just, he's not afraid. Like when he first started, he was a little bit like hesitant, and now he just gets right on the horse. He's almost too brave, and he's trying to like fall off. But yeah, just an overall comfort, and just, I mean, physically, he's always been beyond like his peers, but he's even further now, I think, like getting on the horse, getting off the horse, he has no fear about that. No.
Kristen, I appreciate you sharing CJ's story with me, and I really want to see him riding that horse beside you someday, him on one, you on one, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I wish you only the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tanya, you're the one who invited me here today.
Right.
And I'm so thankful because this has been so cool. But why did you want us to come here?
Well, like I said earlier, I don't have any experience with horses, and until about a year ago, I didn't even know about Stoneybrook Foundation. And since coming here 3 months ago, I'm just amazed by the work that the people here do. Amazed by how therapeutic horses can be. So I'm amazed by the stories that I've heard from the families that I talk to when they're in the waiting area, and how this form of therapy really helps their children. There's actually an older woman that comes here who has diabetes, and her equilibrium's off. She has type 2 diabetes and lost her peripheral vision. And first day I walked in and met her, she said, "These people are miracle workers." Because the balance that she's gained from riding the horses and doing the therapy, her equilibrium is stabilizing, and she loves it here. She comes here, she beams when she pulls up in the driveway.
This is Bear.
It's a beautiful horse.
Bear belongs to the center. We have our horses. We receive our horses in a number of different manners. Bear is actually a purchase of ours, and he is owned by the center. The majority of our horses are owned by private owners who lease it to the program. So when we get a grant or donations to the point where we can buy a horse, we try to buy one that fits broadly into our program.
Who else we got here? Panda, all right.
This is Panda. Panda's eating her dinner, and she belongs to our instructor, Miss Katie. She is not in our program, but she is being boarded here temporarily because Miss Katie had some problems with her pastures, so we have agreed to put her up during the
greener
repairs.
pastures,
Yes,
all right.
greener pastures. This is Jin, and Jin is actually built really well for a therapy horse. One of the things that we like to see in a therapy horse is stockiness. It actually allows them to carry a little bit more weight, but at the same time, they're short enough that our volunteers can put holds on the student to assist them with balance. So her height being a little bit shorter than some of the horses in the barn.
It
but
is
she
a
still-
stocky horse.
Yeah, she still has stocky legs, and that gives her the ability to carry a heavier weight rider.
I'm learning a lot. Who's this over here?
This is Dandy. He belongs to our volunteer coordinator that you met, Haley, and he is our newest horse here. When Haley started working here, Dandy came with her, and he was almost instantly integrated into the program. He stands to have a good career as a therapy horse. This is Avery. Avery loves to come over and say hi. He belongs to one of our volunteers, and that's one of the ways that we acquire our horses. Is one of our volunteers purchased him for her own use, and she rides him when we don't have programming going on. But she also lends him back to the program so we can use him for therapeutic lessons.
Here is a horse that I am comfortable around. There we go. Here's the big guy, big girl. What do we got here?
This is a girl, and she's actually our oldest horse in the barn.
She seems a little bit stubborn.
Yeah. So
And this is a horse?
Speckles is a miniature horse. A lot of people mistakenly call it a pony. They automatically think because she's small that she is young. She is our oldest horse in the barn. She's in her mid-20s. She is an ambassador horse. She wears an ambassador horse vest, and she has tennis shoes from Build-A-Bear Workshop, and she will go out into the community and help bring awareness to our mission. Students will pet her. She will attend story times at libraries, nursing home visits, and that's what her job is here.
This is the coolest horse ever.
We actually use her a lot of times to help horse students in. Bear wants to talk.
Bear's jealous of that comment. As you can tell, sometimes the horses
In addition
don't
to
want to
being
be
a
interviewed.
community ambassador, Speckles has been used in the past to help get students that are afraid of horses. Something a little bit more approachable.
Perfect for
And
me.
so so they come up to her. They see the horses aren't as bad as maybe they were scared of, and she's their first experience in foray into dealing with a horse. So they pet her and groom her, and she stands there politely and quietly. And then sometimes it helps bridge for them to be able to get to a bigger horse and work with a horse that they can actually ride. Volunteer Cheyenne, and she is taking Pixie out for the evening and putting her in the pasture. All of our horses get as much turnout as possible. They're happy and healthy when they can be running around outside.
Katie, what do we got going on here? That looks like a mask or something.
We are fitting a fly mask to our horse Cadence here, and the mask helps to keep the bugs out of their eyes and ears so that they're a little bit happier when they're outside. The mask is made out of mesh. It might look dark, but it's made out of mesh, so she can see right through it. So I'm just making sure that it fits her and it's not touching her eyes or interfering with her sight or anything else, and it's not too
That's pretty neat. When we drove in today, we were thinking, hey, those are blindfolded. And
A lot of people think they're blindfolded, and we get asked that a lot, but they're not blindfolded. They can absolutely see right through them, and the horses are very happy to wear them so that they don't have flies in their eyes.
yeah, who would want that? What is this big area here?
Well, this is an arena. This is our riding arena, and I'm glad that you refer to it as a big area. This is definitely one of the areas that we're looking to expand. The bigger an indoor arena is, the more students we can serve simultaneously. So we are currently in search of some grants and some financial backing to be able to expand this kind of area so that we can have multiple lessons going on at one time or do a larger group lesson at the same time. So right now we accommodate 2 to 3 students at a time in a lesson in this arena. So we're looking for some growth.
I'm learning so much today here. And I'm hearing that you're launching a new program, you're writing a curriculum. What is that all about?
Yes, we're creating a new program that we're going to be offering here called Equine Assisted Learning. And the goal of Equine Assisted Learning is to teach life skills through the use of horsemanship and horsemanship activities. So they will gain self-confidence and self-awareness, skills such as leadership, emotional intelligence, nutrition, budgeting, time management. We're bringing lots of things that are important for everyday life in the world, and we're using our horses to teach the lessons about those things. So that's very exciting for me.
People today have mentioned new programming. So is there some expansion you want to tell us about?
Yes, we are. I mean, we started out with working with autistic children 10 years ago and have expanded into some more adults with disabilities, but I'm actually looking to expand more into the veterans. We've had some wounded warriors come in the past couple months, which has been a wonderful experience for them and for us, but I'm looking to expand more and work more with the veteran population. I would also like to expand into drug and alcohol.
Okay.
We have a unit going in, an 85-bed unit going in over the hill here, and they've already approached us about possibly partnering to bring groups of recovering addicts over to do work with the horses. And also looking to do, hopefully, because I come from a background with marriage and family counseling, I would like to see couples who are struggling come in here and do team building with our horses and help them communicate better together.
we are so happy that you allowed us to, we're happy, we're humbled that you allowed us to come into the Stoneybrook Foundation today and just be part of it. Is there any way that we can support you? How could we get the word out, or how could we support what you guys are doing here?
Well, first of all, we want to thank you guys for doing this show for us and bringing some awareness to our mission. And as we do grow and do some changing programs, it's nice to be able to have somebody just broadcast that in the community. I mean, we're looking to expand. As Tanya had said, we used to work primarily with children. Our programs are growing all the time to include adults with special challenges as well. And just to let all these demographics know that we're waiting here to serve them.
This is Dominic Damaski, and this is Discovery and Inspiration. We came out to the Stoneybrook Foundation today, and we got to hang out with the horses. We got to hang out with the staff. They're doing a lot of great things. We'd ask you to support them, come out, volunteer. They need your help. That's how they make all this possible.